got a nice trail here which leads to come up this slope. So we've got an impression there, we've got something here, that looks like a deer, and we've got some kind of mark there, maybe that's a deer again. But what I want to do is take the water out of this and have a look at it, because it's slightly bigger than a roe, but it's not got the crisp outline like say with a red deer hoof. So I'll take the water out of that and have a look, see if there's anything to tell. Right, I'm going to use this syringe I got. Well, I've got most of the water out. Now this print's been here for a while probably anyway. I don't know if I'm calling it a print because I haven't got any proof that it is. But where the water's lying here, let's try taking out some of this stuff. This is the difficult bit. If you disturb the material, you might lose what's there. Well, the shape of that's interesting, because that's very pad-like. And you might almost think you have a toe here. Let's angle the camera, see if we can get a better look. You might think that was a toe, and maybe that. Now, let's have a look. I don't know if you can see that with the camera. That edge there is almost like a toe too. Let me put the camera back there. So it's quite... This is interesting, but it's just not defined enough that we can make a final conclusion on it. But enough to be interesting. And if we look here, okay. Let me see now. Again, I've got to be careful moving stuff. Well now, is that a toe there? One there, one there? Possibly. Let's take some measurements. Right. So if we take where the ruler is to be the pad, that's, let me see, a 60mm pad. If that's the spread of the alleged toes or possible toes, 90. Let's look here. So if we take that as the outer edge of that toe there, and let's just pretend, well not pretend, speculate that's a toe, that's a toe, that's a toe, so you're going to have your, in fact yes, actually there is. That's a rounded kind of edge. Let's see if I can get a camera angle on it better so you can see. Yeah, that's not got the sharpness that you get with a roe deer hoof. So if we go from there to there, that's just on the 90 again, so that matches this. So possible, but again the ground's just not good enough to give us the definition we really need. But we'll keep a note of that and where it is. Now I do know a story of somebody who was walking their dog not far from here, maybe half a mile, and as they came along the track they happened to find the carcass of a ewe in under a gorse bush, and when they went to look at it he heard an almighty roar coming from the hillside, and he said to me, he says it was a big cat, he says no mistaking it. So it gave him a bit of a fright and he walked ever so slightly faster to get back home. Well now, we appear to have struck gold here. Lots of plucked hair. Lots and lots of plucked hair. And down there, bones. So let's get down there and have a look. Okay, let's have a close look. Interesting marks there. Chewed a bit, I would say. Bite marks. Let's see what else there is. Well, I took its teeth out. Anyway, no damage to the mandible. However, that's interesting. Is that bitten off? Oof. Don't know how long this has been here. Quite a while by the look at it. Now, let's look at that. Let's have a peek over here. Still a lot of flesh on these, but I mean, if the flesh is still there, it's not too long ago this has potentially been killed. Potentially. But by where it's lying, I just don't think it's poachers. And then of course we've got the plucked hair at the top of the slope, so poachers don't bother plucking hair, that's for sure. Okay, so, well, I think we've got a potential kill here. But I'll take photographs and I'll send them off so people can, or knowledgeable people can have a look and see what they think. And I know where it is, so I can come back anytime with a bag and get some, take some of the bones if they want to do any analysis work on them. But I don't have anything with me to carry them just now, so I'm not mad keen on putting fleshy bones and that into my backpack. It wouldn't be too good at all. But what I'll do is I'm going to have a little look round, see if we can see any indication of prints or anything like that, everything. And I'll come back shortly. Okay, I'm going to show you some impressions, but we'll start with this one. So you'll notice the roundness of this. Now, what I like about this is a canine print can be round but long, whereas a cat is round but shorter. That's how I describe it. And you can see here, if you think about the old Shell logo, when it was like that, and then it would be round like that. That's the shape I look for in any material to give me an indication that we've got potentially cat activity. So let's measure that one, and if you remember the last ones we were looking at were 9 centimetres, and there we are, 9 centimetres. So let's have a look. I think there's a couple more up here. Right, this is potentially something too, and again we're looking at just on 9 centimetres. That's quite good. Now you can see the difficulty I can have in trying to get a decent print when you got sand, mud, moss, grass all combined. It's very difficult. But you can use the shape of that impression as an indication, and then you can measure the distance between impressions to give you an idea of the size of what it is you're looking at. Of course, we need better definition to be absolutely sure it's feline. However, the shape does indicate that. And I've seen this many, many times in the 5 years I've been doing this, or 6 years now actually. And just at my feet there's actually a clear patch of sand where of course it hasn't stood, which is just pretty typical. Right, let's go somewhere else. Let's just take one last look here. There we are. Got wrapped around that tree when it fell. I wonder if that broke its back when it fell actually. Or after it's been killed up there, plucked, and it's rolled down here and wrapped around that tree. But you can see all the evidence of plucking anyway. Now what I've also been doing is checking along a nearby fence line, just thinking that sometimes cats will make a kill then drag it off to consume somewhere else. So I went along about 50 metres or yards, whatever you want, along a fence line, but didn't see anything that would indicate anything being dragged from the fence towards where it was consumed, or potentially consumed I should say. Always got to use the word potentially.